This morning, I got screamed at in my own driveway over a sign. A simple, polite, no entry posted on my property line. Nothing wild, nothing neon, just clear, direct, like I wish most folks would be. But you'd think I set off a nuclear alarm the way Doris McNelt, our illustrious HOA president, came barreling down the street, flip-flops flapping, her expression like she'd found out the world was ending and it was all my fault. First thing out of her mouth wasn't even words, just this high-pitched shriek. "I am the HOA." Like she was the Queen of England. That's when I knew this wasn't about my little sign at all. This was about power, pride, and a woman with way too much time on her hands trying to micromanage an entire neighborhood. You ever had one of those neighbors who turn a broken mailbox or a dandelion into a five-alarm fire? Trust me, whatever you've dealt with, it probably can't hold a candle to what went down here. Let me back up a sec and set the scene. I'm Clark Jensen, landscape designer, been living in Willowbrook Estate for 12 years, longer than anyone else on this side of the block, and, funny enough, I've got a special connection to this place, but we'll get to that. It used to be a peaceful neighborhood, real community, potlucks, folks mowing each other's lawns when someone got sick. Then Doris rolled in 3 years ago, and somehow, in record time, got herself crowned president of the HOA. I should have seen it coming, honestly. She kicked off her campaign, complaining about mailbox paint, demanded everyone's shutters match, wrote letters if your grass got too long. Nobody was safe. But I figured, let her get it out of her system. Boy, was I wrong. The fireworks started over something so basic it's almost embarrassing to say. I put up that no entry sign. My corner lot gets used as a shortcut to the main road. And at first, I let it go, but after months of cars buzzing by, headlights flashing into my windows at 6 a.m., kids on bikes weaving through, enough was enough. My house, my driveway, I paid for every inch of it. So, I bought a nice wooden post, kept it clean, nothing tacky, just a sign asking folks to go around. For 3 glorious days, it worked. Quiet mornings, no tire tracks in my grass, no strangers waving at me through the kitchen window. I felt like I'd solved world peace. And then, Friday, 8:30 a.m., I hear the unmistakable stomp of flip-flops coming up the driveway. Doris arrives, hair wild, clipboard in one hand, pointing and bellowing. This is a violation. I set my coffee down and, trying my best not to laugh, say, "Good morning, Doris. What can I do for you?" She goes off about community values and regulations I've supposedly broken, except there's no such rule in our actual bylaws. She bangs on my garage door, throws a tantrum in the middle of the street, waves her shoes around like she's summoning the spirit of Robert's Rules of Order. Neighbors are peeking through their curtains, dogs are barking, and kids are laughing. I figure if I'm about to get accused of destroying the neighborhood, might as well record it. So I start filming. She sees my phone and flips out harder, shrieking, "You can't record me. I'm the president." Like that's a real law. Eventually she storms off, promising an official letter, and peels out so fast she leaves a patch of rubber in my grass. The next day, sure enough, I get the HOA's finest literary work delivered to my mailbox, typed on official letterhead, full of spelling mistakes and references to made-up regulations. "You are in violation of Regulation 3.4.1. It says, except, of course, there is no Regulation 3.4.1. I laugh so hard my coffee almost comes out my nose. Now, here's where the plot thickens. Instead of getting angry, I get inspired. I scan the letter, blow it up poster size, frame it in gold trim, and display it right in my front yard on an easel, art gallery style. Folks stop by, read it, crack up, take photos, share it online. Mrs. Patterson brings her grandkids by to teach them about spelling. Mr. Rodriguez says it's the funniest thing he's seen in years. I even do a live stream, HOA letter art exhibition, reading the letter line by line, pointing out every error and imaginary rule. The video gets hundreds of views, and my DMs start filling with stories from people fighting their own HOA wars. Suddenly, I'm the unofficial mayor of neighborhood resistance. Of course, Doris can't handle being laughed at. That night, she drives by, tries to tear down the display, but it's bolted to the easel and firmly on my property. She leaves tire marks instead. Next morning, my phone rings. "Take it down. It's harassment," she yells. I keep my tone calm. "Doris, if you're embarrassed by your letter, maybe you should have proofread it." That makes her even madder. "You'll regret this," she spits and hangs up. That afternoon, there's a knock at my door. Frank Mulligan, retired electrician, quiet guy, longtime board member. He tells me Doris has been doing this all over, picking on folks, threatening them until they cave or move out. But, he says, nobody's ever pushed back this hard. Frank's been keeping receipts, emails, letters, finds Doris made up. He wants to help. For the first time, I realize it's not just about my sign. It's about a bully who's made an art of intimidation. I dig through my old files that night, just to make sure I'm right about my rights. That's when I find something nobody else knows. The original blueprints for Willowbrook Estate. My own designs from 15 years ago, back when this place was nothing but mud and wild grass. I planned every lot, every street, every curve. And, just for fun, I'd left a small triangular no man's land between my property and the next, marked common area unregulated, a patch deliberately outside HOA authority. Call it designer's insurance, or just a young guy with a sense of humor. Next morning, I call Rachel Green, local wildflower outlaw, beat the HOA once over daisies instead of Bermuda grass. She comes over, checks my documents, and confirms it. That triangle is free land. You could build a lemonade stand there, and they couldn't stop you, she laughs. Suddenly, I realize I've got the ultimate trump card. I make a new sign. Big, handsome, professional. Neighborhood Behavior Observation Area. Please conduct yourself with dignity and respect. Set it dead center in my little loophole. At 8:30 sharp, Doris returns, stops dead. Her face is study in shock, fury, confusion. "This is still HOA land," she snaps. "Actually, Doris," I reply, "the original plat says otherwise. I have the paperwork if you'd like to review." She sputters, takes photos, vows to call an emergency board meeting. But instead of backing off, she escalates, hires a lawn service to inspect my grass, measure weeds, document violations. I hire a DJ to play classical music during inspections, live stream the whole thing. Neighbors gather for the show. People start planning their walks to coincide with the concert. Doris drives by, red-faced, while I serve up tea and answer questions about property law. It's like HOA's got talent out here. Friday, she finally snaps, calls an emergency meeting for Sunday, invites the local news. Channel 12's there, reporters and all. The community center's packed, neighbors, cameras, the works. Doris stands up front, piles of binders, talks about disruptive elements. Frank sits to the side, folder in hand, Rachel right up front. When it's my turn, I stand, tell the room about my little sign, then drop the bombshell. I'm the original designer. I built this place, know every line and loophole. I spread out the blueprints, point to the unregulated triangle. The room goes dead silent. Doris sputters, but Frank stands, backs me up with his own documents, records of Doris's forged signatures, unauthorized fines, even a few $1,000s in fees that never made it into HOA accounts. The news reporter films every second. Neighbors start whispering, checking their phones, texting friends. Doris shrieks, "I am the HOA," and every phone in the room records it for posterity. The board votes, unanimously, to remove her as president, refund every fake fine, and refer everything else to the authorities for a real investigation. The room erupts in applause. Doris stares, defeated, mutters something about leadership, and vanishes into the parking lot. 3 days later, I watch from my porch as a moving truck backs up to Doris's house. She's gone, finally, and Frank and the new board take over, promising transparency and fairness. Sometimes, the best revenge is just letting the truth shine through, building something so solid it survives even the pettiest tyrant. And hey, If you've ever tangled with an HOA or a neighborhood bully, don't just sit on your hands. Stand up, laugh a little, share your story below, because sometimes the only way to fix a broken system is to show the whole world exactly how broken it really is. You know what I mean?